Do you have an after credit scene planned?
Yeah, no, we teased Thanos at the very end.
Captain America comes in.
If you're watching this, you've recently made Severance a part of your workplace. As unsevered management, we're entrusted with interpersonal nourishment.
We can slide into spoilers now.
Sure, yeah. That's something we do. Sort of spoilers.
That's a young person's slide.
Spoilers.
All right, everyone, slide into spoiler time. Lower the shades a little bit.
So obviously, this is a big one in that we find out the revelation about that Helly actually haven't seen all season. It's been Helena the whole time. When you were filming episode 1, you knew you were playing Helena.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was something that we all kind of were. It was a delicate balance that we all tried to navigate, and yeah, so it was a relief to kind of come back to full Helly R in episode 6, and to just because it'd been like many months of doing something that was an Uncanny Valley, I guess, version. But yeah, they just sound slightly different in my head, like in different music,
right?
Almost like the same musician, but different albums. Though technically, strictly speaking, she's not your wife. Pretty sure you're out about the ring.
And then for you guys, playing opposite Britt, who's playing Helena, but your characters think it's Helly, how do you play that?
We were very careful not to tip it in any way possible. I mean, it was really fun to be able to watch Britt play Helly through Helena throughout those episodes and see what she was doing, because it was extraordinary. But, in the scenes, just doing whatever I could not to, tip it in any way. Because that was, the most important thing.
The Brit part of me felt very bad for tricking my friends.
It was funny because it was really fun to watch you do it, and I would kind of forget.
Totally.
When we were doing the scenes as Dylan, I would forget, but then there would be this like, oh, why did she react that way to that? But it was kind of fascinating to me, honestly, to watch you do that.
What were the challenges of taking everyone out of the office, as it were?
Well, on a story level, I mean, it was something I had always wanted to do on a story level, because it's one of those things you can only do on this show. Oftentimes in TV, you throw the audience in and they don't know the context of something. They don't know what happened. But on this show, the characters can be just as disoriented and confused as the audience, and have to figure out how they got there along with the viewer. And so I always had this idea of, a character waking up and suddenly they're out in the middle of, I had always seen it as like an Arctic tundra kind of situation, and they're like, what the hell happened? So it was fun. Although I do have to admit, I was in LA doing something else when they shot that. So
sunny LA.
I was like literally like out on my deck, like in
watching dailies,
just watching the feed and be like, they look cold. They look really cold. I hope they're okay.
It was cold.
I'm sure. So it sounded good on paper for you guys to get out and about a little bit, and then when you got there, it was not as fun.
I mean, it was awesome, but one of the main challenges was just getting to the locations. Yeah. Like, we would get in a van and drive to a parking lot, and then get in like a 4-wheeler and take that up the mountain. And then we'd have to, we had like guide ropes, and we had to walk another like way up the mountain. So even just getting to where we were shooting was like literally a challenge.
Yeah, getting up the mountain, the cast had to get into these things, snowcats, which are snow vehicles that went up a trail. There weren't even roads going up there. And we get up and there's like this base camp at the top of this mountain. And we were there for 12 till the sun went down shooting. And it was freezing. And we did it for 4 weeks. We were shooting out there.
Really?
It was really fun, but really challenging and hard, but in a good, fun way.
4 weeks?
Yeah.
Wow.
We had a really different relationship to light, like Adam was saying. Typically we're in these fluorescent lights that you can control, the time.
Right.
And we're on this race against the sun. And so that became our partner. in the outdoors, and that was kind of fun and thrilling.
And then when the sun would go down, it would just get even colder every night, which is how the sun works. I'm not sure if you guys.
I've heard about that.
Thank you, Adam.
Yeah, let's. We
Look,
can
I'm
talk
not a
about it.
breaking news,
Yeah.
but
The sun is warm.
yes.
We're getting a little
And
technical
the
here.
moon is cold, I think is
The moon is
the
freezing.
moon is ice.
It provides coldness.
We also got to get out of office attire and wear like really incredible costumes that Sarah Edwards designed. And for me personally, it was nice to not be in pantyhose and heels for once. Yeah.
You did get to take your shoes off though late in episode 5. I know.
I do. That's a spoiler for sure.
This interview is over.
I noticed the costumes. I love them, and Milchick wears a different outdoor costume as well.
It looks incredible.
He finds a way to separate himself.
Yes, there's a little separate. Yeah.
So Milchick said we're famous.
All of us equally, or one of us is like the star?
Why do you think Dylan works at Lumon?
That is something we learn a little bit more about this season. I don't know that we necessarily get a complete answer. I think some of it is just it was an opportunity for a stable and well-paying job, and he has a family. I think that's a lot of it. I think the question as to why he specifically would want to be severed is probably a little more complicated than that, though.
Because it's fairly obvious by the end of season 1 why your characters are severed, but Dylan, it seems like we're getting to see more of his home life, and it's maybe not the happiest situation.
Yeah. I think it's a good question of why would someone? It's one of the main questions of the show of all the characters is why would someone want to just shut off while they're at work? And we do definitely get to learn more about that for Dylan.
Can you guys talk about some of the fun guest stars? I know you mentioned Gwendolyn already, Adam.
Bob Balaban, Alia Shawkat. Yeah, what's amazing.
Yeah, that's a great, that's episode 1, right? When we walk in, you walk in and those people are all there. Like,
Robbie Benson.
oh, I don't think I got to that one yet. Really?
Oh, really? Okay.
What's it like?
Jane Alexander.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen these yet. Incredible.
Yeah.
What's it like when you walk on set and you get to hang out with these people for the day?
Oh, it's so much fun. I mean, Bob Balaban is, a legend and just one of our great character actors, and has been for a good while. He's so much fun and so good on the show. And Alia Shawkat is, just so fantastic.
Yeah.
We're just lucky to have them.
Gwendolyn Christie is like glamorous. I always think of her as so glamorous, and she's scuffed up and she's kind of a hot mess, right?
But when Gwendolyn Christie walks onto your set and is like geeking out about the show, yeah, you're Brienne of Tarth. Are you kidding me?
Like, why do you even know who we are?
Also, my niece's middle name is Brienne because of her.
No way.
Really?
So, yeah.
That's amazing.
You told her?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And I plan to name my first child Tarth.
Yeah.
When I have one.
They could have named one of the sheep Tarth, I guess.
They're all named Tarth.
All the robot sheep were named Tarth.
Dan, do you have a sense of how the story will end? There's no spoilers, obviously, but do you know where this is
I'll tell you.
What if you just bought...
Yeah, okay, so here's what it is.
I promise I'll hold it till season 2 premiere.
No. Cut it out. It's fine. It's fine. People should know. I do have a sense of how it will end. I have an end point that is I've kind of always had in mind. I have a scene that I've kind of always had in mind that I think of as sort of the end for a particular character. And then sort of on a story level in terms of what Lumon is doing, a lot of that is stuff that I've pretty well had in place. Some of it's changed, and I think that's part of the process. Like because you have to be able to be flexible enough to fall in love with certain elements of the show that you didn't expect, and weave those into the greater story. The story you always hear is that Jesse Pinkman was supposed to die. I think was it the pilot or end of season 1 of Breaking Bad, and they just realized no, we need this guy. This guy is integral to the DNA of the show. So stuff like that has happened, but I know where it is, and there are certain dots along the way that I know we want to connect, but definitely leaving a lot of flexibility in terms of how we get there. Sure. Because that's part of the fun.
And you decided not to kill Dylan off in the pilot.
I mean, Ben made that decision, Frank. I was pushing for it. So
We'll see.
This is reductive, I don't know. But I feel like being an innie is being stuck in a job where you feel like you can't get out of it and you don't know what your life is. Have you guys had that job in your own lives? Have you had a job where you felt stuck, you couldn't move forward? I know I have.
I mean, oh, go ahead.
No, I was.
It's not this job.
yeah. Currently, yes. No, I mean, I wrote the original pilot while I was working a series of office jobs. It turns out I'm a very fireable person. So it was like 5 different office jobs that I was trying to work as I was writing this pilot, but it ended up being a real gift because I would pull things from each one. And the thing is that the show is less heightened than I think people think it is, or less exaggerated in some ways, because a lot of this stuff, if you really pay attention, it's as absurd as certain elements of the show. I had one job where it was in an office and the smoke detectors broke down in the whole building, and they said, well, we checked, and it turns out we can stay here until they're fixed, but until they're fixed, somebody has to go around once every hour and check every room and make sure nothing is on fire. And Dan, would you mind doing that?
No way.
Yeah, so I was a human fire detector for like a month because it took that long to fix them.
But sometimes it's hard to tell if something is fire or something else.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of stuff I saw was fire in that it was like cool.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, that's fun. But
that's fire.
Yeah. And
You have to watch your slang when you're
It gets us back to the whole sun conversation too.
Exactly.
Complicated.
like you would look at the sun and you'd think the room is on fire.
Yeah. Outside, the sky is on fire. But there's stuff like that where it's like, if you put that in the show, people might accuse it of being like too much, like too exaggerated. But that stuff is there all the time when you're working in a corporate setting. So, I had a lot of jobs like that.
Okay. All right. Well, great. Can't get better than that, I guess. The sky is on fire. Thank you, guys. Good luck with the new season. I appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. Thank you.
Well, there you have it. Remember, managers, growth takes time, but happy workers bloom more quickly.